Welcome to my humble abode. I am sporting my Scotland top. There's a good reason for that. I'm going to be talking about the World Cup. But in order to do that, I'm going to need a dram. And I was thinking about what would be the perfect dram for this video. And I don't quite have the exact number that I wanted, but close enough. So, I'm a Scotland fan. I was born in Scotland, was raised there, moved around a bit, moved to the US 21 years ago. So in the whole time I've been in the US, Scotland have not made it to a World Cup. Now that might not be shocking to a lot of people, but I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. I was born in 1980. We made the World Cup in 82, I don't really remember that. I remember 86 fairly well. 1990, Italia 90 is my favourite World Cup of all time. And then 94 was the last time the US hosted it. We missed out on that one. And then 1998 in France, I was 18 years old. Almost 18 years old. And I remember watching it. We were all face painted and all the rest of it. Watched it at my pal's house in Galston. And that was the last time we made it. So it's pretty sad. I'll layer another sad fact. Scotland has never made it out of the group stage of the World Cup. Now, if you've stumbled on this video and you don't really know much about the World Cup, I'll give you a quick insight. Once you qualify, you go into a group stage and you have 4 teams. You play each other once and the top 2 advance to the knockout round. And that's something that Scotland has never achieved. However, this year, for this World Cup, which is going to be hosted in the US, Canada and Mexico, they've decided to expand the tournament. There's more teams in the tournament this time. There's more groups. And that means there's an extra knockout phase. So instead of going to the last 16, it goes to the last 32 teams after the group stage. So what that actually means in our advantage is that instead of only the top 2 teams going through, you actually get the top 2 teams plus the best 8 third place teams go through. So all that is to say is we'll still get knocked out, don't worry about it, but we do have a better chance than ever before of making out the group. Positive thinking, that's classic Scottish mentality. Okay, so let's get into the whiskey. If you don't know me, my name is Dave Allardyce, Dave Paradise. And I've been working in the Scotch whisky business for about 15, 16 years. And this is a very special whisky for a few reasons. So I don't have a 28-year-old, 28 being the last, time we made it to the World Cup was 28 years ago, 1998. This is a 27-year-old. It's from a friend's company, Alexander Murray, from a distillery that I'm very close with, Bruichladdich. And even more special than that, this was a commemorative bottle for a friend who passed away a few years ago, Scotch trooper, who was very well loved in the whisky community here in the US and overseas. So this is a 27-year-old. So, seems like a good fit for the occasion. So, I want to talk a little bit about Scotland's group and their hopes of getting it out of the group. So, I've never been to a World Cup. So when I was 18 years old, we didn't really have the means to get to France and go to the World Cup. Or I was actually 17 at the time. So we watched it at home, like I mentioned. And we didn't do very well. And the funny thing is that we had Brazil and Morocco in our group in 1998. We also had Norway. This time we've got Brazil, Morocco and Haiti. So, having never had the chance to go to a World Cup, I've always said that the next time we qualify, I'm going. And it just so happens that it's in the country that I live. So, which is a win. But of course, there's been a lot of controversy over the ticket prices and the price gouging and all that stuff. It's been pretty bad. But we decided, hey, let's get a ticket for the first game. So we're going to the Haiti game. We paid over the odds. We paid the StubHub prices and all that. 2 weeks later, my friend gets the ballot, comes in. So we're all buying these second-hand tickets that are massively overinflated. He then wins the ballot, which allows him to buy them at a little bit over face value. So we're now still trying to sell the original batch. Hopefully we will, but the cool thing is I'm going to a World Cup, I'm going to a Scotland game, and not only one, but we've got tickets to the Morocco game as well. That's game number 2. It was announced that both Scotland's games was going to be in Boston, so easy decision. The third game is in Miami against Brazil, which I really wanted to go to that game, but I've only bought a one-way ticket to Boston, so at the moment anything's possible. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. I might play it by ear. We'll see. Anyway, let's have a taste of this whiskey. 27-year-old from Bruichladdich. I've had it before. It's high strength, cask strength, I believe. It's a single cask. Bottle 1 of 238. Do you know what? I've never realised that before. Bottle 1 of 238. Bottled at 44.9% alcohol, matured in oak, unchill filtered, single cask. Bruichladdich. So I said Alexander Murray, that's the company that bottled the whiskey, but they received the cask of whiskey many years ago from the Bruichladdich distillery, and they held on to it for 27 years. So 44%. I like a tiny bit of water in this. So just a tiny splash. That's me. Sanjivar. So this was distilled in 1991. 1992 was the first time Scotland ever made it to a European Championships. And funnily enough, I went to the European Championships in Germany 2 years ago. So it's the World Cup every 4 years, and in between that you have the European Championships, which is the same idea, the same format, but of course only European teams. So it's a really huge thing in Europe. It's such a footballing part of the world. And we went to Germany. I went to the opening game with my dad, which was embarrassing because we sat in the home end, the Germany end. Germany were the hosts. It was the first game of the tournament, and we got thumped 5-1. And me and my dad are in with all these Germans, and we had a good laugh because what else are you going to do? It's laugh or just crumple into a heap. And we had some good banter with the Germans. And then I went to the next game with my mum, Switzerland. I think we drew 1 each. That was a good buzz, not getting beat. And then I decided to stay for the last game because if we had beat Hungary, we'd have got through, but we got beat 1-0. So classic Scotland. That is, if you don't know anything about Scottish football and Scotland just in general, it's like glorious failure is our kind of standard approach to life. The almost, the nearlies, the valiant effort, the went out with a fight, but never quite made it. So, if you've been following Scotland your whole life, this is the story of Scotland. And so we always hope that one day we will make it out of a group stage in either a European Championship or a World Cup. But we're here, the World Cup is upon us. As I'm recording this video, it is in 1 week. The opening games in Mexico City. It is going to be, Mexico and South Africa. And yeah, I'm very excited. Quite often I will do videos with my mum, sometimes with my dad, and whoever else is interested in getting involved, recapping games and talking about the upcoming games and different highlights of the tournament. So I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be amazing to be there in Boston. Never been to Boston. I've travelled a lot over the US in the past 21 years, and that's one of the places you would assume a Scotsman or an Irishman living over here would have visited Boston, but never been to Boston, so I'm looking forward to that. We've got a minibus. I've designated myself as the driver. So some people think that's crazy. I'm like, look, I spend my whole life around alcohol. A day off will be great for me. I'll have a little cigar at the tailgating. So I'm looking forward to it. We had to get an Airbnb about 45 minutes north of Boston, which is about almost a 2-hour drive to the stadium. And I've heard it's a nightmare getting in and out of the stadium. If you are familiar with that, feel free to drop me a comment. But we were flirting with the idea of getting a bus, taking the minibus to the city and then taking the train. But Not sure. Anyway, either way, it's going to be great. But Scotland, always the underdog. So it's pretty incredible. We've got Brazil and Morocco again. Now, there's a FIFA World Rankings. Scotland are 43rd in the World Rankings. Yeah, Scotland are 43rd in the World Rankings. Haiti, 81st. So we should, in theory, be winning that game. But it never is played in theory. So we have to see. Haiti supposedly are quite a strong team. I haven't really watched them. I've got some friends from Haiti, so that'll be a bit of banter there. But Brazil and Morocco are both in the top 10. Brazil's number 6 seed and Morocco's number 7. So we're up against it, as usual. The last time we played both those teams in France, we were only beaten because we scored an own goal against Brazil. They beat us 2-1. And just remember watching that, I was just like, that's so Scottish. So close to getting a result against Brazil, and it was an own goal. And then Morocco smashed us 3-0. And we managed to beat, we drew with Norway. But that's not enough. A point is not going to get you through. Now this year, 3 points is a good chance that 3 points, 1 win, will get you out the group if you have a decent goal difference record. So let's say, for example, we beat Haiti 1-0, 2-0 by a goal or two. Then we would just have to make sure that if we got beat by Morocco and Brazil, that we didn't get beat by more than a goal or so, right? Like keep it as limited damage as possible. And that gives us a chance of getting through in third. So, still difficult, still hard. But it's so funny how it's worked out. You know, the first time we've been qualifying and it's in my adopted homeland in the US. So, let me know in the comments who you're supporting, who you think will win. I usually make my predictions. This is a bit, I'm cheating here, but here, listen to this. I usually make my predictions. So, after COVID 2021, there was supposed to be the Euros in 2020. It got pushed to 2021. I ended up making a bet, and I was going to put 100 on, and I was going to put 500 on. I thought, you know what, let's make this worthwhile. I'm not going out, I'm not spending any money, I'm just sitting at home all day watching the football. So I put 1,000 on, and I think the odds, I always waited, I wanted to wait until after the group stage, which I know is kind of cheating, but your odds come down, right? So you get less money. And it was it Spain? Yeah, I think it was Spain that won it. And I basically looked for the team that was the hardest to beat. Not the team that was scoring the most goals, but the team that was kind of like solid, compact, hard to beat, looked like a team. So I put my money on Spain. I think it was 4.5 to 1. And I put $1,000 on, pounds, dollars, and won. So the World Cup comes around, 2022, the last one. And I go and do the same thing. I'm looking at Argentina, and I'm thinking, they look like a unit. I think there was a game that I was supposed to put the money on. They were at 5 to 1 to win it, and then they scored a goal by the time I got the bet on, and it went down to 4.5 to 1. So I lost $500 with that, but I ended up winning another 4.5 grand. And then the last tournament, and I don't even gamble that much, like hardly ever. The last tournament comes on, which is the Euros 2 years ago. And was it Spain that won it again? No, was it? Who was it? Was it Italy? Spain? I can't remember. Anyway, the point is, I can't remember who. All I know is that Argentina won the World Cup. And the 2 Euros, I won them as well. So there was 2 of them were 4.5 to 1 and 1 was 5 to 1. So I've won like almost 14 grand in the past 3 tournaments. Each time I've bet on one winner. But I have waited until after the group stages. So am I going to do it again this year? I don't know. I probably should. Keep it going. Anyway, hope you enjoy it. Probably do some more World Cup content. So we'll see what happens. I don't really drop videos on YouTube too often, but maybe this will be an incentive to do more. Best of luck, whoever you're supporting. Go on Scotland, the Tartan Army will be there in force. And if you're going to Boston, I will see you there. Sanja. Rest in peace.